Hello and welcome back to Ticker News Insight, where we are looking to focus on the best of business with very clever people joining me from all around the world. I'm your host, Mike Loder, and to our latest story, and Nareg is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Maestro Development LLC, a Southern California development firm that specializes in construction management for the multi-story healthcare, education, public agencies, and real estate industries. Nareg joins me now to talk about construction in the USA. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Excited to have this conversation.
Good to see you. So let's start right in there. What is the current state of the construction market across the United States at the moment? What have you witnessed?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's really an interesting time right now. The demand still is very high, and the supply chain is still very occupied and busy. So we're having a lot of pressure on getting projects delivered and executed, and the demand remains strong. We know that there's different indicators, a lot of things happening globally, but right now in Southern California the demand is very strong.
Okay, could you tell us a little bit about the construction supply chains and perhaps why they're so important to the entire process? And obviously, as you mentioned, there's been some weird stuff going on in relation to the global supply chains at the moment. Have you guys been affected?
Yeah, so supply chain is the key to really setting the schedule and budget to your projects, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of issues with supply chain, with not only procurement delivery times being extended. We have certain products going from 6 weeks to 6 months, certain things taking over a year to get. That drives costs, that drives the schedule, and it's really important to stay on top of your supply chain and really work with your vendors to make sure you're able to procure that stuff. So supply chain's been impacted. We have the post-pandemic demand that's gone up. You have the war that's happening, Ukraine. There's just a lot of factors out there that are putting a lot of pressure on supply chain from all over the world, and it is a global world. So all parts of the globe are impacted by it.
So given the current state of the economy as well, can you talk to us a bit about how inflation and how that is impacting development of these big projects?
Yeah, so inflation is the key. I mean, the demand has been so strong for so long. Inflation has been the key to kind of try to reset that bar, and everyone's eyes are on the rates, trying to figure out how much higher the rates are going to go. But those interest rates really affect how inflation is going to be addressed and how supply and demand are going to be affected. Specifically, we're seeing that the economy is potentially going to slow down in the next year or so. As it shrinks, the rates probably will go up. Depending on how much they go up will affect how much it shrinks. I don't think as a group we're expecting or anticipating a huge recession, more of a major correction. But it's definitely going to be an adjustment. But everyone's keeping an eye on the rates, which is driving really the demand and how the economy grows or shrinks.
Yeah, absolutely. So how have you guys successfully navigated during the current market conditions? Take us through a bit about you and your team.
Yeah. So it's a great question. This is probably my favorite question you asked me so far. I mean, company's name is Maestro, right? So we really orchestrate, we really get involved. We roll up our sleeves and get involved with our vendors, with our supply chain providers, and we really try to understand where are we procuring the material from, where are we procuring labor from, and how can we speed that up? How can we get an alternate option, and really trying to get that done ahead of time.